Hello everyone, it's Andrew from GemTCG here, and in today's video I'll be talking about why you should start selling vintage Pokemon cards as a beginner seller and how this could help you scale your store a lot quicker than if you were to do something else. And if you're new here, I do have a Patreon if you need more help starting and growing your eBay and TCG player stores, and the link is in the description. But let's get started on why I think you should start with vintage cards in the beginning. First of all, the reason I bring this up is because the thing that I started selling in the beginning was vintage cards. I remember when I first started out, I was kind of falling for the mystery lot trick, and I would see these listings on eBay and it would show like a shadowless Venusaur card in a mystery lot for like $8. So I would just buy a bunch of them, and I ended up spending probably like $100 on those lots in the beginning, because they would incentivize it and they'll say like buy 5 lots and you'll get a free first edition or rare card. And I thought at the time like that was a crazy gift or like bonus, because I would look at the PSA 10 prices and think, if I'm buying these cards, even if it's like not good, I could just grade them and make a huge profit, because PSA 10s for vintage cards were going for an insane amount in 2020 and 2021, since like PSA shut down and there was all that hype with Logan Paul base set stuff. So I ended up getting like a few hundred cards, all Wizards of the Coast era, like 1999. And then I realized after grading them, I didn't make any money back, but I had a bunch left over. So I was like, let me put these up on eBay and make the variation listings. And I noticed quickly that those cards sold extremely fast. And by specifying that I'm selling like near mint and lightly played vintage cards, I was able to get a lot of sales, and I was selling them for like $1.50, which at the time was pretty good because I was paying in bulk like 15 cents per vintage card. And most times I would get like the junk ones, like a base set Weedle or Geodude, like all the regular bulk vintage cards, but people would still buy them and they would get huge amounts when they bought them. Like I would get multiple orders every week of like 40 plus cards at a time. And when you're buying these cards for 15 cents and then you sell it for $1.50, but someone's buying 40 of them, you could just do the math right there, and that's around like $40 in profit off of one order. And it only costed me maybe like a few dollars for that whole thing. And of course I did scale up the prices over time. Like I ended up going up to $2 per card that I would sell them at, and then even right now I'm selling them for like $3 per card. And I'm bringing this up today because yesterday I made I made a video on what to do with damaged cards. And when you buy these vintage cards in bulk, you will end up with a lot of damaged cards. So check that out if you follow this advice, because you will need to know how to handle the damaged and dirty cards. And another reason why I'm bringing this up in this video is because a lot of you guys are beginning selling Pokemon cards on eBay, and when you're first starting off, if you're trying to sell ultra modern cards, it's really hard to differentiate between other sellers, because if you think about it, what sets have the most quantity of cards available? It would be Prismatic, Surging Sparks, all of these Scarlet Violet era cards. But then if you look back at Wizards of the Coast era, there's a lot less sellers because there's a lot less cards available on the market since they are so old. And then if you combine that with the fact that you will be selling near mint and light played cards only, you will even further stand out from everyone else, because vintage cards are already rare, but then you're selling like near mint and light played cards on top of that. It'll be like maybe 1 in 10 sellers doing that, or like a very small amount of sellers that are doing that. And since people always or mainly buy cards for their collections, they will look to you for that, to fill their collections. Because most people, when they are doing their collections, they want at least lightly played. Like some people don't care about the condition, but for the most part, people want lightly played and above for their cards. So if they can find a trusted source that has all the cards they need, they will buy them all from you. especially if you have a good price. Like, don't charge a crazy amount. Be fair with your pricing, but you will be able to make a lot of sales doing that. And another thing is, they're still pretty cheap to get compared to like ultra modern, ultra rares and above. Like, I'm sure the going rate right now for a common and uncommon WotC era is probably like 20 cents. And you can buy, some people have like thousands of them at a time. And if you get lucky with some good collections, you would make a huge amount of money, especially if there are like base set starters. Neo Destiny cards go for a lot. The gym cards are going up a lot because of the Journey Together set that came out, or that's coming out. And there's just a lot of like random cards in those Neo sets that are really expensive that you wouldn't expect, and most people wouldn't even think to look at them. Because like if you see a Neo Destiny Chansey, people would think like Chansey is not really the most popular character, it's not going to be expensive. But then you look at TCG Player and it's like an $8 card. And if you're buying that card at 20 cents and you go ahead and sell it for $8, that's a huge profit. And you could quickly get that sale because it's such a rare item. And then some tips for when you are making these posts that you're looking to buy those cards. You're going to want to specify that you're only buying near mint and lightly played cards, because some people won't look at that and then they'll send you like damaged cards because they don't read the full thing. And you need to have some protection to say like, I stated that I'm only buying near mint and light played cards, so I'm going to need to get like a refund on these damaged cards. Because I've had sometimes people would be like, oh, you never specified what condition they're in, and then they try to like be difficult and take advantage. And I'd say like, which I mean, it is kind of on me because I should have specified that I'm buying those conditions, but just to be careful and so that you don't run into that situation, make sure to specify the condition you're buying. Also, pay a lot lower for trainers because those are a lot less in demand. So you don't want to be paying 20 cents per card for those. You could probably do like 8 cents or 10 cents. For rares, you could do maybe $2 per, maybe even 3. And then first edition cards, you're going to want to do, you could do anywhere from like $1 to $2, depending on if it's a common or an uncommon. Like right now I'm selling uncommons very quickly for $8 a piece. So uncommon first editions for $8 a piece. So if you can get those at anywhere below $4, you'd be pretty set. And also, the reason it's a very good thing to do is because most people or most collectors are looking for, they usually start with the base set. Like that's their first set that they want to completely master. And a lot of times they would be looking, they already have the hits, they already have the hollows, then they just need to fill out those commons and uncommons. So if you can have all of them ready for them, they will buy them from you no problem. And like they don't even mind spending that extra price, because if they could trust that you'll sell them in a good condition at a fair price, you will easily make that sale. And from my experience, I've noticed that the most commonly selling sets are base set, like number 1, nothing comes close to that. And then the second best would be Fossil, and then it goes Jungle, Gym Challenge, Gym Heroes, and then Team Rocket. And then I would say Neo Genesis, and then Destiny, and then Revelations, and then Discovery at last, because it kind of has the least popular cards. It does have like good rares with the Espeon and Umbreon, but the commons and uncommons from that set are not really good, so those don't sell as commonly, or as common, whatever the word is. But overall, you're just going to want to make those posts. Say you're looking for those bulk vintage cards. Try to find sellers that like will be legit, and because it is much more difficult to deal with these cards because there's a risk of them being fake, damaged, dirty, smell bad, or anything, because they are so old. Like these cards are 25 to 26 years old now. So there's a lot more steps that go in with processing these cards. So you're going to want to buy from trusted and reputable sellers, because it's not as simple as buying modern bulk, because modern bulk, basically, if you have it, it's most likely authentic, most likely near mint. You don't have to worry about that. But with vintage bulk, it's a lot different. So make sure you're doing that, and then get the variation listings set up. I do have a video on how to do the variation listings, and you're going to want to have one of those for every set, and differentiate between unlimited and first edition, because people are usually buying one or the other and not both at the same time. So have those separate. And if you are selling these cards, make sure you're actually selling them as is. Don't say it's a light played card, but then send a damaged card, because that will really hurt your store and give you a lot of bad feedback in the beginning, which is not good at all. Like if you have 1,000 feedback and you get one bad one, then it's fine. But if you're starting off and you get a few bad feedbacks, that could really hurt your store and get people to not buy from you again. So definitely be careful with that. And even if you want to be careful, you could specify and say, like, I don't want only fossil and only jungle cards, because those are the least valuable ones. So you could always ask them that. But yeah, I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I hope you do well with this advice, and hope you have a great day.